In our lifetime, we absorb facts, information, and skills. We get our theoretical and practical understanding through education and experience. It's called knowledge. Welcome to television's longest-running high school quiz show, Knowledge Bowl. Let's join two of our 16 competing Northeast Michigan high schools and our host, Astrid Fitzpatrick, for today's match.
Hello and welcome to Knowledge Bowl, Michigan's longest-running quiz show. I'm your host, Astrid Fitzpatrick. Today our game is between Mayo and Roscommon. We'll start by introducing our teams, beginning with Mayo and starting with their captain.
Jacob Lentz, senior.
Ben Lubitz, senior.
Brian Price, junior.
Caleb Clover, sophomore.
Vernon Buchanan, freshman.
And they're joined by their coach, Jay Jackson. And our team from Roscommon, starting with their captain.
Blake Erickson, senior.
Jim Gee, senior.
Devin Lovegrove, senior.
David Disney, senior.
Lee, sophomore.
And they're joined by their coach, Jim Perelius. I'd also like to thank our judges today, Joey Greskoviak and Matthew Fitzpatrick. Our first round is the toss-up round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
Round 1 is a toss-up format. A question will be asked, and the first competitor to ring in has the opportunity to answer the question. If a correct answer is given, the team is awarded 10 points. No consulting is allowed. If the answer is incorrect, then the question goes to the opposing team to answer.
All right, we'll get right into our first round. Mollusks having shells with two similar halves are classed as what? David?
Bivalves.
That's correct. These are languages that are no longer spoken, such as Jacob.
Dead languages.
That's correct. Visibility depends upon the degree of clearness of the atmosphere. How do you spell visibility? Jacob?
Visibility.
That's correct. Which of Shakespeare's plays is based on Chaucer's Troilus and Cresside? Jacob?
King Lear.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? David?
All's well that ends well.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was Troilus and Cressida. A party involved in a litigation who appeals the decision from a lower court to a higher court is called the what? The correct answer was appellant. The Nuclear Test Ban Treaty was signed by Britain, the Soviet Union, and the United States in 1963. Under the agreement, what type of nuclear testing was allowed? In the air, in outer space, under the sea, or underground? Blake.
Underground.
That's correct. A cape is a body of land which projects into a body of water similar to a peninsula. Where is Cape Hatteras? Devin?
Scotland.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Mayo? The correct answer was North Carolina. From 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., the temperature rose at a constant rate from -4 degrees Fahrenheit to 36 degrees Fahrenheit. What was the temperature at noon? Jacob?
20 degrees.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? The correct answer was 16 degrees Fahrenheit. Which two American League teammates for which baseball team combined for the most home runs in a single season at 115 in 1961? The correct answer was Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris of the Yankees. Originally, it meant a churchman who was assigned to argue against the sainthood of a person nominated for canonization. Give the term which today is used to mean one who finds fault with something supported by another. Blake?
Devil's advocate.
That's correct. What would be the volume of a pyramid in cubic inches if it has a base measuring 4 inches by 4 inches and has a height of 6 inches? Jacob?
62 cubic inches.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? David?
64 cubic inches.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was 32 cubic inches. Metazoa, Parazoa, and Protozoa are the three different types of organisms. Now they refer to degree of development and differentiation in the animal kingdom. Which of the three is the most developed and differentiated? Jacob?
Protozoa?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? Right, the correct answer was Metazoa. King Lear stood on its heights, and William the Conqueror considered it a strategic objective. Dunkirk evacuees were landed here. Name this site composed of diatoms in southeast England. And the correct answer was Dover, or White Cliffs. Charles Lyell is often acclaimed as the father of modern what? David?
Medicine.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Mayo? The correct answer was geology. Name the Ivy League school located in Providence, Rhode Island. Blake?
Princeton?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Mayo? Jacob?
Tufts?
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was Brown University. What part of the microscope magnifies? Jacob?
The lens?
That's correct. Montreux is located in which Central European country? Jacob?
The Czech Republic?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? The correct answer was Switzerland. What was the name of the monopolistic company that once owned Chevron, Mobil, and Exxon? David?
Enron.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Mayo? Jacob?
The Rockefeller Corporation?
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was Standard Oil. The lawyer who conducts criminal proceedings on behalf of the state is called what? Jacob?
Prosecutor?
That's correct. What territory and later a state was carved out of Texas in 1850 for $10 million in compensation? Devin?
New Mexico?
That's correct. A solid figure consists of a cube topped by a square pyramid. The base of the pyramid is congruent with and coincides with the top face of the cube. How many faces does the composite solid have? Jacob?
9?
That's correct. The pomegranate is a reddish-yellow fruit whose pulp has a pleasant, slightly sour taste. Spell pomegranate. Devin?
Pomegranate.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Mayo? Jacob?
Pomegranate.
That's correct. That's all the time we have for our first round. We'll be right back with some updated scores. Welcome back. So far we've got Mayo with a score of 60 and Roscommon with a score of 40. Up next is the bonus round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
This is the bonus round. It consists of toss-up questions, as in round 1. However, this is the twist. The team answering correctly then gets 4 bonus questions. For each question answered correctly, a series of points will be awarded. Team members can consult, but only the team captain can answer the question. After an incorrect answer, the toss-up portion begins again for both teams.
All right, we'll get started with our second round. According to the second law of thermodynamics, entropy never decreases. According to the first law of thermodynamics, what physical quantity is always conserved? Devin?
Mass?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Mayo? Jacob?
Energy?
That's correct. Okay. Shakespeare. What did the soothsayer warn Julius Caesar to beware of?
Ego.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answer was the Ides of March. Members of the cat family are distributed worldwide with the exception of which 2 continents? Jacob?
Antarctica and Australia.
That's correct. Right, Asia. In which country did the Boxer Rebellion of 1900 occur?
China.
That's correct. Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos were formerly known as what? The correct answer was French Indochina. What term indicates what you've done with a putt or a basketball when you've shot them into a hole or basket? Ben?
Score.
Or Brian? Sorry?
Score.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? Blake?
Sink.
Judges? Yep, that's correct. Okay, center. This Los Angeles Lakers center broke Wilt Chamberlain's career scoring record. So Roscommon.
Shaq.
Sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answer was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. With what state does Florida share the longest border? Jacob?
Georgia.
That's correct. Right, computers. Of command, file, and statement, which term refers to a computer program or set of data that is stored on a disk?
File.
That's correct. Which computer function returns the remainder when an integer is divided by an integer? Div, mod, int, or sqr?
INT.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was mod. Zionism takes its name from A, a fertile plain in Canaan, B, the Red Sea village to which the Hebrews were delivered from Egypt, C, the followers of the prophet Zion, or D, a sacred hill in Jerusalem. Jacob?
B.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? David?
A.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was D, a sacred hill in Jerusalem. If the sides of a triangle are 5 inches, 12 inches, and 13 inches, what is the area of the triangle? Brian?
Inches squared.
That's correct. Okay, lumber. Consider a plank 20 meters in length. It is used as an inclined plane with one end of the plank 4 meters off the ground. What is the ideal mechanical advantage?
5.
That's correct. Pieces of lumber less than 2 inches thick and 8 or more inches in width are known as what?
Planks.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was boards. Okay, write down these 3 addresses from literature. 221B Baker Street, Peachtree Street, and Rue Morgue. Now match the location with the creator, Margaret Mitchell, Arthur Conan Doyle, and Edgar Allan Poe. Jacob?
Baker, Edgar Allan Poe, Peachtree, Mitchell, Rue Morgue. The last one.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? Devin?
Baker, Arthur, Edgar Allan Poe, Morgue, and Peach last one.
That's correct. Right, Congress. When senators go on a talking marathon to stall a vote on a bill, what are they staging?
Filibuster.
Oh, sorry. Filibuster.
That's correct. The legislative branch of the federal government is divided into the Senate and the House of Representatives. Identify both the number of senators in the Senate and the number of congressmen in the House.
100 in the Senate and 435 in the House.
That's correct. In a congressional election year, what percent of the members of the House of Representatives and of the Senate are elected?
1/3, 33%.
That's correct. Under what circumstances may a congressman be elected at large?
Quit. I don't know.
When someone quits.
Judges? Oh, when someone quits? Okay, I'm sorry, that was incorrect. It was when the state legislature fails to redistrict after a 10-year census. What is the name of a lesion in the lining of the stomach? David?
Ulcer.
That's correct. And Lesotho. Lesotho is located on what continent?
Asia.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answer was Africa. Okay. If I gave you the middle name Fenimore, you'd supply the full name James Fenimore Cooper. If I gave you Makepeace, what name would you supply? The correct answer was William Makepeace Thackeray. Saturated air at 27 degrees Celsius contains 25 grams of water vapor per cubic meter of air. Another sample of air at 27 degrees Celsius contains 6.25 grams of water vapor. Calculate the relative humidity of this sample. Jacob?
85%.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? David?
80%.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answer was 25%. That's all the time we have for our second round. We'll be right back with some updated scores. Okay, welcome back. So far, we've got Mayo with a score of 115 and Roscommon very closely behind with a score of 100. Our next round is the 60-second round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
This is our 60-second round. The team with the lowest score selects from one of the 4 categories of 10 questions. The team that has 60 seconds to answer as many questions as possible. Each correct answer is worth 10 points. Any missed questions will then be answered by the opposing team. An additional 20-point bonus is awarded for answering all 10 questions correctly.
All right, we'll get started with Roscommon. They've chosen the category measurement. I'll give them the name of the person and they identify the quantities that are measured. Right, ohm.
Electric current. Electric current.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Curie.
Radioactivity.
That's correct. Newton.
Force.
That's correct. Mach.
Oh, speed.
Speed.
That's correct. Coulomb.
Pass.
Beaufort.
Pass.
Watt.
Electricity.
That's correct. Hertz.
Frequency.
That's correct. Mercalli.
Pass.
And Stanford and Bennett.
Pass.
Okay. And Mayo. Ohm.
Voltage.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Coulomb.
Air pressure.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Beaufort.
Pass.
And Mercalli.
Pass.
And we'll move on to Mayo, who's chosen the category math. What real number is its own additive inverse?
1.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. As an angle increases from 0 degrees to 90 degrees, its cotangent decreases from infinity to what?
0.
That's correct. What number is equal to 12.5% of 8?
One.
That's correct. In any square, the diagonal equals the length of any side multiplied by the square root of what?
Pass.
Sorry. Okay, Roscommon. What real number is its own additive inverse?
-1.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. In any square, the diagonal equals the length of any side multiplied by the square root of what?
3.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. And that's all we have for our 60-second round. We'll be right back with some updated scores. Okay, welcome back. So far, we've got Mayo with a score of 135 and Roscommon with a score of 150. Our last round is the toss-up round, just like the first round, so we'll get started with that. This warm ocean current usually develops off Peru in late December, but Blake.
El Nino.
That's correct. Name the philosopher and founder of a major religion who described these 5 relations: king and subject, father and son, man and wife, older and younger brother. Jacob.
Buddha.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. And also friend and friend.
Confucius.
That's correct, Confucius. What well-known star is in the Little Dipper? David?
The North Star.
That's correct. The half-life of carbon-14 is 5,730 years. How old is a fossil containing 1/8 of the original carbon? Jacob?
17,190.
That's correct. He began his career as a lawyer in 1781. An ardent student of Rousseau, he became the radical, articulate leader of the Jacobins. At the trial of Louis XIV, he pleaded for the death penalty. He was Jim.
Maximilian Robespierre.
That's correct. Mouse is to mice as moose is to what? Jacob.
Moose.
That's correct. What is the square root of 2 1/4? Jacob?
Square root of 5 over 2.
Judges? Sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? Right, the answer we were looking for was 3 over 2 or 1.5. The krone is the basic unit of money in what nation? Devin?
Sweden.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Jacob?
England.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was Denmark. Women given rank correspondingly to knighthood are called what? Jim?
Lady.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Mayo? Yeah, the correct answer was dames. What part of a sewing machine often has to be rewound in order to distribute and secure the thread? David?
The bobbin.
That's correct. What kind of roundworm can enter the body through the feet? Blake?
Tapeworm.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Mayo? Correct answer was the hookworm. What Union victory allowed Lincoln to publish his Emancipation Proclamation? Jacob?
Battle of Gettysburg.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? Jim?
Battle of Antietam.
That's correct. Although commonly called the knee by horsemen, a horse's knee actually corresponds with which feature of the human anatomy? Jacob?
Ankle.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Devin?
Elbow.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer is the wrist. White, red, and Savoy are 3 kinds of which vegetable? Jacob?
Tomatoes.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. David?
Onion.
Sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was cabbage. What is the correct Castilian pronunciation of the letter Z in Spanish? David?
Zeta.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Mayo? Jacob?
Y.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was like a TH sound. The Z makes a TH sound, and that's kind of Spanish. Find the derivative of x to the 101st power. Jacob?
101x to the 100th power.
That's correct. The first organized baseball team was played in which New Jersey city in 1846? The correct answer was Hoboken. Give the last name of the Sinclair Lewis's title character Samuel, whose life is changed by a trip to Europe. The correct answer was Dodsworth. What Victorian poet in a dramatic monologue poem gives us the lines, "Ah, but a man's reach should exceed his grasp," or what's a heaven for? The correct answer was Robert Browning. Give the collective name for the countries which are independent from 1918 to 1940 when the USSR seized them and brought them under control as Soviet republics. Jacob?
The USSR.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? David?
The Baltic states.
That's correct. A menagerie contains two-legged fowl and four-legged beasts. Upon counting, the manager notes that there are 30 heads and 100 feet. How many of the animals are fowl and how many are beasts? Jacob?
20 are fowl, 10 are beasts.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Roscommon? David?
20 are beasts, 10 are fowl.
That's correct. And that's all the time we have for our final round. We'll be right back with the final scores. All right, welcome back. Our final scores are Mayo with 165 and Roscommon with 230. So congratulations to our winners today, Roscommon. Join us next week when we have Alpena versus Standish. And I'll leave you with a quote from Carl Jung: knowledge lies not in truth alone, but in error also. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's why they put the little erasers on pencils. Have a nice day.